So
Hey, Jesus had 12 homies with him.
uh-huh.
Think about that.
Yep.
12 homies. That's not a small number. 12 people can't fit in a car.
Man, I ain't even got 12 friends,
You
okay?
know what I'm saying? Like when people, but that goes to show you that fellowship is important.
Welcome to the Bookkeeper 24/7. What's up, what it is, and what it do. I'm your host on this one, Justmic. For anybody wondering where D is, where Daryl is, he's having some medical issues. Nothing too major, but our brother couldn't be here with us. So anybody that's watching this, wondering where he's at, please keep him and his family in prayers. But Daryl is trusting me to go ahead and sit down, host this pod, and I cannot wait to get into it because we got one of the hottest dudes right now that got one of the hottest albums right now, okay? And so let's welcome our family, KNEK, aka Western Tech.
Man, I appreciate you for having me, man. Hey, man, you bigged up the album a lot, man. That's a lot. That's a lot
Hey.
to maintain.
Hey man, I'm just keeping it real, man. Everybody need to hear this album for real, bro. But
I appreciate that.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. I appreciate you making great music, straight up. But we're gonna get into the album a little bit more, talk about everything that So first off, let's go ahead and let's get the people who don't know you, who haven't maybe been familiar with you. Let's go ahead and let them know where you from, man. Where you come from?
Of course, yeah. So I'm from South Florida.
Okay.
It's hard to just place one location on it because I've been moving all my life from Miami to West Palm Beach to Coral Springs. I just been all over the place. Currently, I'm in Hollywood, but I'm just a South Florida dude.
Hollywood, Florida. Okay. Yeah, I know you got some testimonies down there, man.
Oh, of course. Always.
Yeah.
Always.
Florida.
That's just the way Florida be, man. There's always something going on. Trials after trials, but we always overcome.
Yeah, Florida be off the chain, man. So yeah, man. But that's what's up, man. Yeah, I don't know if you know, but I'm currently here in Cleveland, Ohio.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dope.
Yeah, bro. But so yeah, man. So you from Florida? I know in the first pod that you did with Daryl, you talked about your testimony song. And it's all through your music also. It's all through your music. It's so much that you can draw from and tell us about. So why don't you go ahead and just open up as far as, I know in the first one you talked about your friend that introduced you that used to try to pull you to Bible study for 7 years.
Yeah.
And so then you finally started coming. So once you started opening up that door, man, give us your testimony as far as what that was like, when you started accepting Jesus and started going to those Bible studies.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It was quite of an experience because through those Bible studies and through building those friendships with, still they're my best friends to this day. You get what I'm saying? But like building that, I learned a different type of love. You get what I'm saying? That I never really experienced in my household on that level.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? Like when you're at home, you got your parents, you got your siblings. It's one of those things is you have to love each other. You get what I'm saying? Because you're family. So it's a different thing that, there's nothing to gain or nothing to lose. It's just you're at a church and they showing you a type of love like you family, even though you're not. You get what I'm saying? And that really opened up and really showed me what God's love is really about. You get what I'm saying? It's more than just family. It's just the love of humanity in general. You know what I mean? And they showed me that type of love, and it's just one of those things. I'm so grateful for it because I needed that, especially during that time.
Right.
Because I didn't feel like there was love anywhere else. You know, so I gravitated to it and I was locked in, man. I was locked in every week, every Sunday, still to this day.
Yeah, man. And I mean, that is the thing about the body. A lot of times us God fearing church going people, we can get a bad rap. But a
Mhm.
lot of times, we just need to see that you are taking, not just your faith, but our faith serious as well.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
good that you started taking it serious. And when they started seeing it, you started receiving the love that they was giving. So I
Absolutely.
mean, was it ever a time that you was looking around and you was just like, man, what am I doing here? Cause
Nah. You
no,
know what is I think what helped is that my mother was raised Catholic.
okay,
And so I used to go to Catholic church and everything like that, but it was just always a weird feeling for me because we never really talked to anybody, it was get
yeah,
up, sit down, doing all of these particular things, and I went through communion and confessions and all of that stuff, but I was like the one black kid in the class. You get what I'm saying? So
yeah,
I experienced, certain things that's the last place I would have thought to experience it. You get what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
oh, like, yeah, we could all believe in God, but my skin tone still matters. You get what I'm saying? My complexion is still different from y'all, so I'm
yeah,
still getting treated a certain way. You get what I'm saying? So that drew me away from religion for a very long time. You get
yeah,
what I'm saying? Because I'm just like, that don't add up. How
yeah,
do y'all love God, but then hate somebody who's a different color than you? You get what
yeah.
I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
So once I once I became part of the Baptist church and I met those friends and I started seeing the opposite of that,
Mm-hmm.
it just drew me more and more to it because it was like, oh, this is what it's supposed to be. You get what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Versus what the other one was. And it was like, that's when I started really opening up and really starting to understand what God's love was.
Yeah.
But if it wasn't for seeing that other side of it,
Yeah.
you get what I'm saying? I would have had nothing to compare it to.
Yeah,
You know what I
man.
mean?
And I'll just say, I mean, that is kind of a battle right now where
Mm-hmm.
you see on our side, and I don't mean
Mm-hmm.
to get controversial or anything like
Yeah.
that, but
Yeah.
right now we see on our side where some people are lifting our skin tone, our black, our culture up
Mm-hmm.
more than Jesus. And then
Mm-hmm.
on the other side, we can see where our Caucasian brothers and sisters don't come
Mm-hmm.
for me also, but our
Mm-hmm.
Caucasian brothers and sisters, they might be put in. It's funny. I'm just gonna be honest. It's funny because
Yeah.
they're cloaking in politics and
Yeah.
what's
Yeah.
going on with the
Yeah.
government, and
Yeah.
we see it on both sides. But
Yeah.
whenever we do find that body
Mm.
that's being loving, how Jesus tells us to love, you definitely want to hold on to that. So I'm
Absolutely.
so
Absolutely.
yeah, I'm glad that you found that, man. So
Yeah, absolutely. And
yeah,
it's no shade to any other denomination and things like
right,
that. Like, we all serve the same God. It's just there's certain cues that get missed
yeah,
sometimes in certain places. You get what I'm saying?
oh yeah,
Like, it's like I could call my pastor right now and talk to him, let
yeah,
him know what I'm going through. You cry over the phone with them. You get what I'm saying?
yeah,
Over there, I got to go into that pew. I don't even know who I'm talking to. You get what I'm saying? And I'm just
yeah,
confessing, and
yeah,
he's telling me what to do. Versus my pastor watched me grow up. You get what I'm saying? It's
yeah,
a whole different level of love. You get what I'm saying? And it's just like, again, no shade to either or, but it's just I connected to that more than anything else because it felt the way it was supposed to be. You get
right.
what I mean?
Oh yeah,
So yeah.
definitely, man. So, so how with you growing up with your pastors, like you said, how do they accept your ministry or show support to your ministry as far
Yeah.
as with your music,
Yeah.
with your studio? Oh yeah, for people who don't know,
Yeah.
if you haven't watched the first pod with KNEK, you should go watch that because this man is also a producer. He
Yeah.
also
Praise
has a
God.
recording studio where he's recording with not just
Yeah.
us like-minded people, but he's reaching out to even the lost, the
Yeah.
people who's
Open
maybe
door.
yep, who's
Hmm.
tittering. He's opened his door up to them. But So,
Mhm.
you know, like I said, if you haven't watched the first pod, you should go back and watch it. But, you know, the question that I was asking, so what you bringing up your pastor and them watching you grow and watching
Mhm.
your ministry flourish like how it is, man. You
Mhm.
know, what type of, you know, how do they support you? How do they show love to it, you know?
Man, like big brothers who just proud of their brother.
That's
Honestly,
what's
you
up.
know what I'm saying? Because my pastor, he is one of my oldest friends. You
Okay.
get what I'm saying? So
Ooh,
when Pastor Joshua Fakir, so he's the one who actually had the message in the first song of in the intro song,
right.
right? Pastor Joshua Fakir. So it was him and his brother, his younger brother Daniel Fakir. I grew up more with Daniel because we were around the same age.
Mm-hmm.
Know what I mean? Pastor Josh, you know, he went off to college because he's a couple years older than us, but we've always been close.
Yeah.
So, I mean, from high school, or well, really middle school for me, all the way up till now. So we just always been in each other's lives one way or the other. You
Man.
know, so it's one of those things is I got to see him become a pastor. You
Oh
get what I'm saying?
man.
And he got to see me release my first song. You get
Oh
what I'm
man.
saying? And stuff
Yeah.
like that. And you
Yeah.
know, we both got to see Danny become a fitness trainer and all of these things. And we all know each other's testimonies. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So it's one of those things. We have no choice but to just support each other and just support and just to glorify what God has done in each and every single one of our lives.
Yeah.
You know?
And see that kind of that really makes me think about how Paul in the New Testament talks about the body, you know.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
it sounds like, you know, in your ministry or in your church, man, one is the finger, one is the leg, one is the
yeah,
elbow. Y'all all
yeah.
working together for the common goal to make sure people can receive Jesus. So that's awesome, bro.
Absolutely.
I'm happy for you and them brothers, man. Straight
Yeah,
up.
absolutely.
That is awesome. We're gonna get into the music. Don't
Mm.
worry.
It's no worries. No,
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? The music is the music. I love this. You get what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
and I know it's one of those things when people sing it, when they see it for the first time, when they see us with each other and they see us long enough, you know, it's one of those things they're always like, you guys have no idea how lucky you guys are.
yeah,
You get what I'm saying? Just to have a close friend group that has withstood that test of time.
yeah,
You get
man.
what I'm saying? Like that's not something that is common.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's four of us strong, and we've been like that for a long time. You get what I'm saying? And
yeah.
I'm thankful every day for it because them like literally blood is the only thing that separates us.
Right.
You know, all my music videos, that's one of my brothers that I met at the church. You know, he does all my video work. He does all the video. That's
Man,
June. Daryl
man,
Joseph. I watch him grow his videography business the same way I was doing music. So
man.
we just all just grow together.
That's awesome because, you know, a little bit about my background. I'm 5 years in saved. You know, I got saved in
Yeah,
2020, and so I'm still kind of new to
yeah,
the church. And you know, I love my church. I love where the Lord
mm,
has me and my wife. But I do
mm,
see some separation within not
mm.
just my church, but other churches as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so you know to
Yeah.
hear that y'all are working together, coming together. I mean, hey man, I applaud y'all, man. That's not something
Yeah.
that's common. Sometimes that's why I'm learning and finding out. Sometimes
Mm.
that's why people have church hurt, as they call it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so
Absolutely.
man, the Lord is just shining on you, bruh.
Man,
Man,
I'm just thankful for it, man.
heck
I
yeah.
can't I can't even take any credit for it. You get what I'm saying? It's just positioning and being obedient.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man. We'll dive into obedience. You know, maybe you give
Mm,
me some tips on obedience because I hear it all through your music. I hear it
mm,
all. I see it all on your posts. You're real big on obedience, discipline,
mm.
and I mean, as much as your music, your ministry flourishing. I know you got some great tips for me and the other people
Absolutely.
out there listening. You know.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely, man. You know, in your music, you talked about this time that you had where you lost your kidneys, and you
Mm,
talked about it on the you know in your music. You talked about it on the first pod as well.
mm,
So I just been thinking, you know, listening and tapping into you know what type of spiritual struggle did you have at that time, or did you actually get spiritually stronger? Did it help you grow
That
closer to the Lord at that time?
man, that's a great question. You know, when it came to me, it was one of those things that everyone around me was more worried than I was.
Ooh,
And the only reason for that I was like, of course it's a scary thing. Of course it's a very real thing. Of course it's a critical condition.
yeah,
You know, those are all the facts, right? But
yeah,
what also is a fact is that God got me through so much worse. He's got me through so many things over the years. So it's one of those things that it was just the next obstacle. It was just the next thing that I was gonna overcome. You know, so I always had that reassurance that I'm gonna get through this because it's always happened. You get what I'm saying? It's like when before David went to go fight Goliath, or even, you know, when he was speaking, he's like, I fought lions and bears. He didn't
right,
say how many lions or bears he fought.
yeah,
But he was like, the same God that helped me against them lions and the bears is the same God that's gonna help me deliver Goliath and smite Goliath. You get what I'm saying? So it's kind of one of those same things. It's just I was already reassured in the fact that he's got me through before.
yeah,
He's gonna get me through this one.
yeah, man. Yo, man, your faith so bold, bro, so bold, man.
Man, I got no choice. I got no choice.
Right,
You know what I
right.
mean?
You say all
Mm,
you can do is go come out here
mm.
blind and make sure that when it come time to fight, you out there swinging,
You know what I
sticking,
mean?
everything the Lord giving to you, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
man, that's what's up, and that's awesome, man. Because we see sometimes people go through things and they can start questioning God,
Mm-hmm.
and so it's always nice when it's brothers like you that can reassure them this ain't the time to question. This is the
Mm-hmm.
time to
Mm-hmm.
tap in and grab hold of them and know that He has us. So yeah, man, I
Absolutely.
love that part of your testimony, man.
Mm.
But so give us a second and we'll be right back after this quick break. Hey yo, what's up with you? I'm Justmic. I'm a Christian artist, a Christian rapper. A little bit more than that, I'm a husband, I'm a truck driver, and bigger than all of that, I'm a servant. So for the last couple years, I've been serving, and my big bro Daryl with his ministry, the Bookkeeper 24/7. Maybe you see me, maybe you haven't. But I've been behind the scenes, just helping him out wherever he needs help. And so here recently, he was like, Mike, you need to start your own podcast. He said, I believe in you, what you want to do. So that's what I'm here to tell y'all. I'm starting my own fresh podcast titled Adjustments with Justmic here on the Bookkeeper 24/7 network. And so what I'm trying to do is sit down with more seasoned saints, could be rappers, could just be other servants, could be pastors, could be people starting their own ministries. Wherever the Lord leads me, that's what I'm trying to do. Sit down with them, ask some questions, get their advice, open up a window to discipleship. As I'm learning, as I'm growing, I hope who's ever watching is learning and growing with me. I hope who's ever watching is ready to make those adjustments so that we're not constantly wrestling in the spirit. And that's what my podcast is going to be about. Sitting down with seasoned saints, learning, growing, and making those adjustments together. So be on the watch out for the first episode about to drop soon. It's also gonna have other guests that's gonna be on other episodes. So I hope that you tune in for adjustments dropping real soon. Yeah. Doses. So yeah, man. So, we're going to do a little bit more of your testimony, and then we're going to go ahead and get to this journey too. You feel
Mm.
me? And then we're
Mm.
going to dive into this album because I want so many people to, which you are having great success at it. We're going to dive into that too. But I want the
Mm.
people who haven't heard it really, really go and support you, go listen to it. So, but so yeah, man, when it comes down to you and your recording studio, I know
Mm.
that you said that you put everything that you had into it, everything. And I remember how you talked about you opening your doors up to not just Christian artists, but even the people who need God, even as we deem them the lost. So since this time, you know, how is your recording studio doing? How is your that part of your ministry going as far as bringing those other brothers in? How's that going for you?
Yeah, man, it's the same. It's the same. You know, that's actually where I'm at right now. You know, I'm in the lobby of the studio right now, and it's a blessing. Yeah. It's just an absolute blessing because, you know, I'm a youth leader as well at my church, but this feels like an extension of that. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's ministry work in the same level. You know, back at the church, you know, we used to play football outside, and, you know, kids would walk up seeing us play football. They want to come play with us. Yeah. Next thing you know, all the players who was there is at Bible study a week later. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So the common interest over there was football. The common interest over here is music. The same way Jesus' common interest with the disciples was fishing. Right. You know, they all went fishing first. You know what I'm saying? They hung out. They vibed with each other, and then, all right, this is what we're going to do moving forward. You know, it's no different.
Man, I love how you use that comparison because, you know, Jesus tells us to be fishers of men. And that's what you're doing, man. You broaden that net and you, man, you wrapping them in, man. So that's so awesome, bro. That is for real. But so earlier when you was talking about obedience and discipline, you know, help a brother out, man. What's some things that you do that keeps you disciplined, keeps you on the right track, spiritually, physically, you know, also in your music, bro? Because, man, what you've been doing, promotion, marketing, bro, it's been dope. It's been real dope. For real, man. So what's some, and I know you had an ebook also. So is everything I'm seeing and what the people are seeing, is that the steps in your ebook right there?
Yeah, I mean the obedience thing, it's seeing enough rewards for being obedient just makes you want to be obedient more. You get what I'm saying? So you never see the rewards while you're being obedient. You always see the fruits after, right? It's the same way when you stay diligent in your homework assignment. When you see that A on that test, you're like, man, that. But during this assignment, during the homework, you're like, bro, I don't even want to do this.
Right.
You hate it, right? You hate it in that moment because that's the last thing that you really want to do.
Yeah.
But when you see the result and you see that you got the highest score in the class, you're more motivated to do the next homework assignment and the next one and the next one. So that's kind of how it's always been for me. Yeah. You know, I'm a little bit of a workaholic as well. So that's the thing. I got no problem working hard. You know, that's one of my things, but definitely staying obedient. I know it's a big thing because if he tells you to do something, then he already knows every obstacle that's already going to come in your way.
Right.
He knows what's going to happen before it happens, right?
Yeah.
So it's one of those things, he's already set the provisions for all of those obstacles. You get what I'm saying? Me, I may not know. I'm worried about one thing, you get what I'm saying? But there's other things that I really should be worried about. But as long as I'm staying obedient, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Going back, and, you know, I always like to reference history, you know, when it came to Moses, you know, he told Moses to go deliver his people.
Right.
Moses was worried about not being qualified to speak and not being qualified to actually get Pharaoh to do what he wanted.
Yeah.
But what Moses wasn't thinking about is all them other trials that he faced during it.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? He was just thinking about that one fear. But there was a lot more things to be fearful of. You had a whole ocean in front of you that you had to get past. Right. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But all he focused on was being obedient.
Yeah.
You know, and the difference between Moses and us is Moses said no multiple times. Then somebody else, no.
Mm-hmm.
And God kept, no, you're gonna do this. You're gonna do this. You're gonna do this.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? He was real. He was real stern with it. He was real Old Testament with it. You know, we don't have that luxury now.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So it's one of those things. When he tell us to do something, we gotta be the ones to push ourselves.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Because he's not gonna keep saying it over and over and over and over.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we gotta keep that to heart and just, man, stay focused and keep pushing.
Man, you absolutely right, man. And you know, I like your answer, you know, because with everything that you're standing on, you can definitely see the reward, the blessing that that our fathers is giving to you right now, man.
Absolutely.
So heck yeah, man. So that's what's up, man. You're even more of a walking testimony of what the Lord can do, man. Yeah.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah, man.
For sure.
Well, you know, so I guess we'll go ahead and dive on into this album. Yeah, man. So if you have not, I don't know what rock you hiding under. I don't know where you been, especially if you're a CHH enthusiast, you know, if that's your genre. But this man literally has one of the dopest albums out right now called The Journey 2. It's a no skip track. He did 300,000? Is that what it was?
300,000. Yeah.
Let me get it right. Don't let me shortchange. No, right. Don't let me shortchange my brother now.
Nah, you got it. You got it. You got it.
Hey, in the first week, 300,000. He's got merch. You can see it all back there. You got the hat on. You got posters. You're gonna buy physical copies. All of that. So that's my little plug before we get going in it. You know, yeah, man. So with the first one, I'm a full disclosure when because Daryl told me about you, right? And when I listened to the first one, I was like, it's cool. It's all right. I was like, you know, it ain't just Mike, you know what I'm saying?
I got you. Yeah.
But man, when I heard this one, I was like, oh man, let me step my game up. Let me do a little bit more.
Yeah. You know what? I love that because, you know, and I love your honesty with that because I'm not afraid of the process. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? I'm not afraid of the process. I'm not afraid of saying, okay, here's where I am and here's where I want to be and continue to move to that. You get what I'm saying? There's a lot of artists, they ain't releasing nothing until they reach there. Yeah. And they may never release because they're trying to get there. Yeah. I'm confident at where I'm at when I'm at there. You get what I'm saying? So it's one of those things. I know this is an 8-lap race, but I did lap 1 great. You know what I'm saying? Lap 2, I'm going to be better. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. But I'm still proud of lap 1 because I did it. You get what I'm saying? So I'm never afraid of the progress and the journey. That's literally why I came up with the whole concept of the journey to begin with.
And yeah, man, and that goes right in line with what I was going to ask you, that process from the journey 1 to the journey 2. And me, myself, you know, I'm from the old school. You know, I remember Master P's first tapes and, you know, Lil Wayne before he was Wheezy Baby and stuff. And just seeing artists make that process and that journey, you know, it's always like you really lock onto them and become a fan. Like I'm becoming a fan of you now, you know. Yeah, man. So, you know, let's dive into some of these tracks, man. You know, earlier you talked about the intro with your pastors, and I definitely love how you started it out. I'm somebody who says, you know, an album should feel like a roller coaster. You know, it should bring you up, bring you down, turns, twists, but you never get tired of it. You know. So I like how you started it, where it was just that build with your pastors, you know, now that I know that those was your pastors. But what was your overall theme? What was your overall theme to when you sat down and started the journey to?
Man, it started in the middle of the night. I just heard I just kept hearing two bars just in my head over and over and over. It's the two bars in the intro,
Mm-hmm.
right? I kept hearing it over and over and over. And, you know, I mean, it's like 3 o'clock in the morning, you know, I typically don't even wake up to and hear stuff like that. But I heard it and I was like, you know what? Let me get up and actually type it into my phone. Let me put it into my phone to make sure I don't forget these two bars.
Yeah.
So I got up, I put it in my phone, and the spirit led me to just keep writing. So I kept writing. This is maybe a month or two after the release of the first album. So I'm saying, when I didn't have any real intentions of releasing another album so soon, to be honest. You get what I'm saying? Because I put so much work into the first one while being on dialysis and everything with my kidneys.
Yeah,
I kind of just wanted to break.
If I could say, man, if you don't know that story about how this man recorded his first album while on dialysis, go listen to the first pod, because it's it was tough. Man, I commend you, bro. I commend you.
That's obedience. Obedience. You get what I'm saying? Obedience. But I decided, like, I kept hearing those bars, and next thing I know, the whole 16 was written. Whole 16 was written. And at this point, it's almost like 6-7 o'clock in the morning, and so now I'm like, let me just go to bed now. But before I did, something told me to just go to IG real quick. So I open up my IG, you know, and I see a reel from the same pastor, Pastor Josh Fakir.
Okay.
I see a reel from him, and in the reel, he's talking about Galatians 6:9, you know, and he's talking about, you know, just never grow tired of doing the right things, for you shall reap a harvest. You know, and I was like, man, that's so powerful, because that's kind of where my mindset is right now after writing that 16. Right. And then when I went to go see the actual cover of the reel, like the picture that he used for the reel, it said Journey TOO, like Journey 2. But in my mind, I'm seeing Journey 2.
Confirmations.
Confirmation,
boy. That's what. That's one where the Holy Ghost slap you up and say, "This is for you." Like,
dude,
man.
When I seen that, I'm like, oh, that's it. That's it. You know, I spent that whole rest of the day just coming up with more concepts, more things to put to it. And
man, that's awesome.
Reel, what he was saying in that reel, I used that clip for the intro.
So
that's exactly that same thing he says. That's exactly what the reel was said in the reel.
So that spirit led. That's that's one of those moments where you just say, I can't even take credit for it. That's all. That's all the Father.
Literally, and everything fits so perfect, because even the timing of everything he said, it fell right in line with that opening of the beat. You get what I'm saying? So it just I was just like, that's all God. That's confirmation, and I got to do it now.
I'm glad you did. And I'm glad you did. For you and for me, I'm glad you did. Because you know, man, something about this album, you know, like I said, it's a roller coaster. I'm a truck driver. You know, that's my 9 to 5, and I mean, it's more than a 9 to 5. That's what I love, driving trucks. But, man, I can put your album on and just, it's a no skip album, B. Like,
praise God.
I mean, seriously, I'm not exaggerating. It's a no skip album, and so it's so nice to hear that you started it with the spirit. And then we'll get into it a little bit more, but how you ended it. You ended it in the spirit as well. And man, I'm just so glad. So let me ask you, what do you feel you didn't address in the Journey 1 that you felt like, okay, I gotta address this in the Journey 2? You understand?
I do. You know what? I would say like it was more so. It wasn't so much there wasn't things that I didn't address, but it was more so kind of like a diary, right? So the Journey 1, I was telling you where I was during that time.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? So the Journey 1 was really me getting over my fears. I just really started getting over my fears of being an artist to begin with. You get what I'm saying? So when you're hearing a lot of the songs from the first one, it's just, I'm talking about all the doubt that I've had over the years, you know, from my parents to certain people and all of these things. But, you know, now I'm going to step on all faith. I'm going to step to the calling that God has given for me. And I'm going to step out and start my journey. And that's literally where I was at the time with my music career. You get what I'm saying? So now when the journey 2 comes, this is where I'm at right now, mentally, spiritually, and everything. So it's more so, these albums are more so a snapshot of where I am in life, a snapshot of where I am in my journey. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's just it. Like, I talk about my kidney more in this project than the last one because it just happened in the last one.
Right.
And I'm telling you about everything older than that I had to overcome just to start this journey.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Versus now it's like, that kidney issue became a testimony within itself.
Yeah.
So now I got to glorify that. You get what I'm saying? So,
and you know, we love a testimony, man.
Yeah.
Some people, I wish I would have said this in the beginning, but the thing about giving your testimony, especially a brother like you, I mean, we all go through our hardships. We all go through our hard times. Some things might not be perceived as difficult as others, but
of course,
you know, man, when it comes to you and just you going through that journey and you giving your testimony, we never know how that's going to reach and touch somebody else. So I commend you, bro, on, you know, being where you're at and being able to be, you know, transparent and bold like how you are, you know. And so thank you, bro.
Oh yeah, man, I'm thankful. You know, I'm thankful that God made me this way, really, because I've never been afraid to be where I'm at, when I'm there.
Yeah,
you get what I'm saying? Like, if I don't got a car and I'm taking a bus, I'm okay with it. That's where I'm at right now. That doesn't mean that's where I'm gonna forever be.
Yeah,
that's where I'm at right now, and I'm comfortable being there in that moment. You get what I'm saying? Man. I'm not afraid of my journey, and nobody should be, you know. But when we compare journeys against journeys, you get what I'm saying, then that's where you get messed up. You know, if Moses was sitting there thinking about how fast David rose to fame, how fast David became king and everything like that, you know, he would have been discouraged. You get what I'm saying?
Or like how Jesus, you know, so when we read the text, you know, John the Baptist was really bold, but never anywhere do you see Jesus really going at John the Baptist like that. You know, you see where he was bigging him up and making sure everybody knew who and how important he was for, you know, being that voice in the wilderness.
Absolutely.
But if we can back up, man, you said something that I would like to back up and touch on. You know, you said in the journey 1, you were dealing with fear or doubt as far as being an artist. So how did you overcome those fears and those doubts, you know, to lead you to where you are now?
Yeah, man, it was definitely a couple of things to actually overcome it. But I think ultimately, you know, there's 2 big things that happened that ultimately gave me I would say the final push to really step out and do this, right? The first one, I'm not as proud of as the second, right?
Okay, well, I gotta hear the first one. We gotta hear this first one then.
So the first one was because I had a friend who I was really close with as well. And, you know, this is when I was doing music, because I took a 6-year hiatus before I came back to doing music. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And one of my closest friends at the time, before the journey and KNEK and everything, you know, he was like, you know, music just ain't for you. You get what I mean? Essentially, he was just like, you know, I go to college. I believe college is the way. You know what I'm saying? And I can't really move with people who's not on that same path as me. You get what I'm saying? Like, no disrespect or anything like that. It's just, you know, I'm trying to move at a pace that I don't feel like y'all can keep up with in a sense. You get what I'm saying? So essentially he was just like, yeah, you need to hang that all up. You know, and it sparked a fire in me.
Right.
The reason it sparked a fire in me because anyone who knows me knows that when I focus on something and put effort into something, like I lock in. I know how to lock in and work. You get what I'm saying? So like no matter what I touch, I always get better at it. Just give me time. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like the epitaph was already written. You get what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Hold on. You throwing out big words now. How'd you say the epitaph? Is that what you said, bro? Hold on, man. Hold on. I got a GED, partner. Hold on.
I hope I used it right.
Yeah, man. We might have to take a definition time break. You know what I'm saying?
I think it's in correlation to your tombstone.
Okay.
He kind of the final judgment. He kind of said, this is the end of your music. That's it. The final judgment in a sense. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that motivated me because it's like, first of all, you know me and you know that anything I put my mind to, I eventually overcome. So the fact that you didn't believe in this over here, I'm gonna prove you wrong.
Yeah.
Straight up, I'm gonna prove you wrong.
Yeah.
So that was more so just a revenge of pettiness. You get what I'm saying?
Okay. That's why you're not proud of it. Okay.
Yeah, that's why I'm not proud of it. I was fueled by rage, revenge.
Hey man, but it's okay.
Man, you know what I'm saying? I mean, hey, we all got growing to do. We all still got growing to do. Like I wanted the moment to come that he was like, I was wrong.
Yeah.
I was wrong. You get what I'm saying?
Hey, bro. And sometimes that is such a blessing. Baby, don't kill me, my wife. Sometimes I tell my wife, please prove me wrong. Please. Yeah. Sometimes, you know what I mean? When you know you right and you just looking for somebody to prove you wrong, you know, because you know you got it. And then, I mean, to take it back to the word, and I'm glad we two good men that can talk about the word like this. Yeah, man, we see it all through the word, you know.
All through the word.
You know, sometimes that vengeance, that fire, true enough, we don't want it to get it to a petty level.
Yeah, correct.
But that vengeance and that fire has led you to be where you are now, where you are. You're reaching folks, you're preaching, you're teaching, you're out here, and you're being a real fisherman. So
I mean, it's like it. You know, not only are you not believing in me, but you're not even believing in the purpose that God put in me.
Yeah.
So you're also saying you don't believe that God can do this for me. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, don't you know the God that I serve?
Yeah.
Like, you should know me already.
Yeah.
But don't you know the God that you serve as well?
Yeah.
How could you just blatantly feel that way?
Man.
You know what I'm saying? So I wasn't proud of that, but you know, I had some growing to do. Now the second one, that one was more so my mentor who taught me how to use Pro Tools and everything, Art Wilson. Okay. You know, still I call him Unc still to this day. Like
shout out to Unc.
Man, shout out to Unc. That's my guy. You know, he the one who inspired me to even mess with music in the first place. He taught me how to engineer, how to use all of that stuff. Man, he came. This is during the hiatus that I stopped doing music. He came to me and he was like, "Man, the Lord just had me on His heart," and he was like, "You need to get back into the music."
Okay.
God been telling me this over and over. Yeah. I need you to get. Man, I broke down. I broke down in tears because it was like it again. That was done for me in a sense. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. But like, when he told me that, I think if it came from anybody else, I wouldn't have received it the way I received it. But that's how you know our God does things intentionally. There's a way about how he does it that you know it's coming from him. Yeah. You know what I mean? When he told me that, I felt that. And yeah, those two things really was just like, all right, enough is enough.
And man, check this out. The way God used him to get you back. Yeah. Maybe God is using you for that guy who doubted you to know the power in a calling.
Come on now.
So
Come on now. Yeah.
maybe the way God used him, God is using you for that man.
Yeah.
And so
I love that.
you look at that man, and I know I could tell you got the heart where you done forgave him. Y'all probably
Of
laugh it
course. That's
up.
my guy. That's
Yeah,
my guy for
right.
sure.
So
For sure.
hopefully when those times come, they can see like, man, God, like they don't look at us, they see what the Lord is doing. So
Correct.
it's still more testimony, dog. But
For sure.
yeah, we're gonna take another quick break, real quick, get into these commercials. So stay with us, and we'll be back with our brother KNEK, aka Western Tech.
Enter the world of Pamela Douglas, where life is a roller coaster ride of emotions, from heartache to hope. Follow Pamela's journey through love, loss, and everything in between in the pages of the Pamela Douglas Story by Daryl Ty. In the first chapter, you'll find yourself transported to the town of Birmingham, Alabama, where the Douglas family grapples with poverty and family tensions. Kemp's emotional intensity paints a vivid picture of the hardships Pamela endures and the tenacity she embodies as she overcomes them. You won't want to put this gripping and inspiring book down. So if you're ready for a journey through the depths of the human experience, join Pamela on her remarkable journey of triumph over adversity. The Pamela Douglas Story is a must-read for anyone who craves a powerful and moving story that will leave you breathless. For more details, sign up for our newsletter so that you can be alerted when the book drops. Now, back to the show.
So welcome back. We're still here with our brother KNEK, aka Western Tech. And for anybody who's wondering why, his name is Western Tech, is because he also does great things through your website, right?
Music business coaching. Yeah.
Right. So, if you wonder, you ain't checked out the first pod, don't know a lot about him, that's why. But let's dive into these tracks, man. Really get into them. And I really want to start with the first track after the intro, Never Letting Go.
Never Letting Go.
I got to, man. Being in this space, man.
Yeah. So, and you see, that's the God of intention right there, because Never Letting Go, in the beginning of the track, you hear the criticism. You hear all of those different things.
And
right?
so let me ask you real quick: was those criticisms towards you, or just that was from all the
Oh yeah, I keep receipts.
Yeah.
I got receipts. The name, the date, everything, the clip, everything. Yeah, those are receipts.
Okay.
Those are all receipts. Because it's one of those things. It's, again, you may feel a certain way, but you never know what God has planned for that person. You get what I'm saying? So there's a way that you could be like, I'm not feeling the track, or this may not be the right fit for what I'm looking for.
Yeah. There's
a way to do that versus, you need to try something else. Yeah, this ain't for you. Like, you can't do that to God's people.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you claim to be God's people as well. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You always have to reserve the right to be like, with God, anything can happen. So you know what? Keep doing your thing, brother. You get what I'm saying? Like, you can't be the God in that moment and give a final judgment like that, because you never know.
Yeah.
You never know. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So that stuff in the beginning, that's all authentic. That's all authentic. I put them all in there.
Man. And then I like how you went through the song, and you was just laying it out like, I was called to preach without a pulpit, and you know what I mean. And this is what it's like to live in purpose, you know. Yeah, man. So, and I mean, and then you ended it like for anybody who was second guessing, you know. I know you think you're the gatekeeper, you know. That's what I mean by, man. You stepped out bold, like you didn't care about what was going to be perceived or said. You knew, like, this is what I'm called to do. And if I could add a little bit more towards, you know, that song and what you're saying as far as like with within our genre, within our space, one reason. Okay, shout out to my guy Dirk, my engineer, you know, my homeboy Dirk. Man, when I first started, he used to say, "Stay away from them." And I used to be like, why? I used to be like, why, man? That's how, you know, I want people to hear. And so he'd be like, because eventually you'll get away from what you want to do, what the Lord is calling you to do, and you'll start making music for how they are telling you to make it, you know? And so
that's powerful.
Yeah, man. Powerful. And so that's something that I've held on to and just remember. Yeah, because you know, you'll take all those critiques and do this and do that and do that, and the next thing you know, you done lost everything that was inside of you. So,
that was you. Yeah. Everything that was you. And no fault to them, but there's an art to critiquing. There's an art to understanding music. There's an art to understanding, okay, this may not be in my personal taste, but this is not a bad record.
Yeah.
I personally don't, it's not the genre that I typically listen to or a style that I like, but it's not a bad record. You got to be able to remove your personal bias from it. If you don't like West Coast rap, you like every West Coast song that you hear is gonna get a negative critique.
Right.
Nah, you get what I'm saying? You gotta understand that you just don't like that type of sound.
Yeah.
You can't critique it negatively because you don't like the sound. You just don't like the sound.
And then
remove yourself from it and just listen to it for what it is. Is the quality right? Is what was said was right? Is it a good record? Do you know if people who do like that sound, will they like it?
And then,
you know what I mean?
With you, something that I really love, even with the Journey One, you got a southern sound, a southern vibe, a southern feel. You know, originally I'm from Tennessee. You know, that's where I was raised, so I know that southern sound. I know that southern vibe, and everybody might not catch on to what you're doing and why you're using some of the beats, and it's like, that's what we are used to. That's what's in us. That's what's hot,
1,000%,
you know. The yelling in the background, you know, it might sound like yelling to somebody else, but that's just us giving you our energy. So
correct.
Bro. I've been peeping it, bro. I've been noticing it. So man.
I appreciate that.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. So, you know, another track that I really, really feel is Time Wasting. Yeah, man. So tell us a little bit about Time Wasting, you know, just your thought process, the concept behind it, and just what you hope that listeners get out of that song.
Yeah, so Time Wasted is one of those songs that remind us of the times that we're in, right? It reminds us of everything that is to come to pass, you know what I mean? Like, in the scriptures, as the years go by, the closer and closer we get to his return, the worse and worse it's going to get, right? We don't know the final hour, but we see certain cues. Oh, Revelations talked about this. Revelations talked about this. Oh, we're definitely in the end times now. We're getting closer to the end times, this, that, and the third. So it's like knowing that the end is coming, knowing that we're in the end times. God gave you an assignment. God gave you a purpose. Are you going to continue to waste time, or are you going to grab that purpose and move as fast as you can with that purpose, because you don't know how much time you got on your hands? You get what I'm saying? So I wanted to share the implement of making people realize what times that we're in, the stuff that we're dealing with in this time, just to remind us that we are in the end times. Don't waste the time. you know, the ball is in your hands. Get moving and get after it. You know what I mean? So that's where that concept, it's a little different because it's like, you know, it's when you're talking about purpose and end times, they don't always go hand in hand in the same sermon, so to speak, or the same conversation.
Right.
But when you look at it in that perspective, you get what I'm saying? It hit different. You know, if God told you that you only had 5 years left to live, and you know he called you to do something, you ain't wasting no more time. You get what I'm saying?
I hear you.
And you going all in because now you know you don't got time left to waste.
So,
you know what I mean?
So how do you stay focused? How do you stay on your how do you keep your guard up in this time that we're living in? Because you're right, it is wasting away. And I mean, we can see it, and I don't care. I got cats that's in the, you know, that's really in the streets, and even they are hitting me up like, hey, it just don't feel right. Like, you know what I'm saying? So
1000%. I mean, there's stuff that are happening left and right. There's stuff that are happening left and right, and it's a scary thing.
So what would you give to those people? What would you say to him that you know hit you? All right, so my homeboy, you know, smoke every day, drink, all of that. You know, he believe in God, but he has no relationship. You know, and so even my uncle, even he hit me up one time, and he was just like, man, I see why you gave your life to Jesus. He was like, we really living in the end time. Keep me in your prayers. And so I of course I told her, I got you, but how would you deliver that message? You know what I mean? How would you tell those guys who know time is wasted? You know, how would you deliver it?
Well, I mean, in those specific scenarios, you know, being a youth, and I kind of learned this being a youth leader. You get what I'm saying? When someone is saying that means to me that means they want to believe.
Right.
That means there's something that's holding them back.
Right.
So from that point, my goal is to find out what that is.
Okay.
What that is. What was the moment? What was the thing that happened? What was the church hurt that got put in place? What was the family member that you thought was a believer that did some wild stuff? Or it's always something.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Those who don't believe, you could tell someone who don't believe who never believed.
Yeah.
Versus someone who wants to believe, but you could tell something is holding them from it.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So my first thing would be to try to identify and find out what that is. But obviously that comes with fellowshipping with that person. That comes with spending time with that you get what I'm saying? That comes, man, I had some of the youth that I had under my wing. We ain't talk about God until 3-4 months. Just being cool with each other. You get what I'm saying? Because God will always find a way to provide the right opportunity. You know, it happens in the studio all the time. You know, I'll have artists come in saying wild stuff on the track, and I'll be working with him for months. Until this one particular song he decides to do when he's being transparent. And it's like, damn, what made you wanna write that? Well, this and this happened, and next thing you know, we crying, we praying, we all of that. You get what I'm saying? So it's putting that interest in them. You know what I mean?
But you're absolutely right, man. When we can be the example and not just the preacher, I think we do way more.
Oh, 1,000%.
Yeah.
1,000%.
So,
and it sticks. That's how it was for me. I'm a product of that. Like when them brothers took me in and allowed me to be a part of their clique, people was looking at us, why are y'all even hanging out? I'm cursing like a sailor. I'm this, that, and the third. I'm ready to scrap at all times. You get what I'm saying? But he never like pushed me away from him. You get what I'm saying? He never was like, oh, nah, you too wild. I'm too Christian for you. You get what I'm saying? It was more so he saw the same thing that I seen others. Like, there's something that's holding you back from it. I'm gonna find out what that is. But in the meantime, I'm just gonna show you love and rock with you. You know what I mean?
That's great, bro. You're absolutely right, man. We gotta show love more than rebuke, man. So
1,000%.
Heck yeah.
1,000%. So hey, Jesus had 12 homies with him. Think about that.
Yeah.
12 homies. That's not a small number. 12 people can't fit in a car.
Man, I ain't even got 12 friends, okay?
You know what I'm saying? like when people, but that goes to show you that fellowship is important.
Yeah.
The King of Kings
Yeah.
had to roll with 12 people.
Yeah.
He could have done it all himself. Why did he do that? To show us the power of fellowship.
And see, man, my 2 cents real quick, because we seeing so many people who are being called or want to start building a real relationship with the Lord, but they try to avoid the church. They try to avoid the building, you know. They and something that I'm always telling people to back up what you're saying is we need like-minded people around us.
1000%.
If I was still, you know, the old Mike from back in the day, trying to be around the people that I used to be around, I would not be here right now. You know,
I feel that.
No matter how much of the Bible I knew, no matter how much I prayed, I would still be, you know, smoking, drinking, all of that stuff. But the Lord's grace and in His blessings, He's placed me around good brothers that I can see how to have a good time without drinking. I can see how to be a better husband. I can see how to be a man of God. And that and all of those things are important to the fellowship and getting in relationship with like-minded people. And so yeah, man, that's important for us. Absolutely, man. So but let's get back, man. We going let's get back on these tracks.
I'm here. Yeah.
All right, so man, the next one after that is the clown. And I love how you use the intro of the clown, because I mean that's what I'm talking about. That was reminiscent. You remember those gangster grills back in the day? Little Buddy. I mean, so many people, but you know, it's like you got somebody hating on you right there. You know, little squeaky voice, and then you just go in. You know, so yeah, man. I love that interlude from you, man. I'm glad that you added that. So with the clown, I've noticed, you know, in the first journey and in this one, you talk about the top. You say that I see you at the top. You're gonna get to the top, you know. And I mean that's where my mind goes when I listen to that track. Like he getting to the top, you know. So man, tell me what the top looks like to you.
Oh, I love that question. Why? Because initially when like most people, when they hear the top, they're thinking they may be thinking the top of the billboards or the top of the charts, or you know, they look at it in almost material things and a Grammy, this, that, and the third. That none of that is my top. My top is just peace. Peace, living purpose. That's it. That's it. Peace and health. Peace in finances. Peace and love. Peace. Period. You get what I'm saying? I just want to be in a place of peace. You know, that way I could live the rest of my life in ministry, just being there for people. You get what I'm saying? And I love that you asked that, because I've never revealed that. I never reveal what the top means. You get what I'm saying? I let people assume for themselves. You get what I'm saying? But the answer to that question is peace.
Man,
that's the top for me.
Because I mean, I think we all have our own vision of the top, but your answer was right on par, man. Because that peace from our Lord, man, it's nothing like it. It's nothing like it. So
1000%.
Heck yeah, man. I feel you, bro. I feel you, yo. So big bro Daryl, man, he gonna kill me if he gonna kill me if I don't ask you about this next song. Call it a hunch. You ain't really, yo. Call it a hunch. Hey, when we listened to the album, and like that was one of the moments where like we had to call each other. We was like, yo, you heard Call It a Hunch? Like for real. Cause I mean that right there setting the record straight, dog. And so I've heard this a few times. It seems like when people get saved, then all of a sudden they was like super gangsters. So you know, they past was like super gangster. That was super hard, and I see it in the church and in the space a lot where people are trying to recognize with the street and with the culture and everything. And I'm just glad. And man, it's a bold record, but it's a very honest record as well. Very honest record. And I'm glad that you made it, because and I'm going on, I apologize, but
no, you good.
Man, something that I say to my people, my friends and brothers in small group and stuff, it amazes me when they say, I've never smoked a joint, I've never been drunk, I've never fought somebody. I'm amazed. I'm like, wow, that's truly amazing. Like when I volunteer in prison ministry, and
same.
And man, let me tell you, I'm in there with some of the people that you see on the news, you know, and I mean, they got love and respect for me because I'm not coming at them trying to be who I'm not. You know, they can see I got a little edge to me. They can see, through conversation, just the way I am, like, okay, he come from something. But when I tell them brothers, I don't have any felonies. I've always been a truck driver. I might have hustled here and there. Man, they like, that's what moves them. And so,
absolutely.
And so with Call It a Hunch, it's like, I just feel like that record should let people know it's old. And so man. So
that's one of the things, and you can relate to this, because me myself, I feel like I'm similar to you. We were raised there, but we didn't become them. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
We didn't let the environment make us into that,
Right.
So I've seen it all my life. I've been around it all my life. You get what I'm saying? But, because I've always been in it, I can identify if it's authentic and if it's not.
Right.
Really quickly. You get what I'm saying? And one of the biggest things for the dudes who really about that, they're not really proud of it. You get what I'm saying? They're not really proud of it. They're not here telling you how many bodies they caught or this, that, and the third, or what they had to do this. They don't really talk about it much at all.
They be the quietest ones in the bunch.
They know that it's a circumstance to why they had to do what they had to do.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? I had to do to provide for you get what I'm saying?
Right.
But then there's the others that it's like, and part of it is the culture, part of it is hip hop, part of it is thinking that you have to be that to be a hip hop artist and all of that. Yeah. Let me just say these things. Let me just act in this way to fit the energy of the culture. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I've had many cats in the studio space say some things that I know they never seen in their life. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But they feel like they have to say to fit. You get what I'm saying? So it's one of those things, like, it just always bothers me, because at the end of the day, I've always noticed that the more you keep asking for something, the more you'll be put in a situation of that reality. The more that will become your reality. And are you sure you want that to be a part of your reality?
Right.
Are you sure you want those consequences to be a part of your reality?
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, some of that stuff you ain't walking away from.
Man,
you get what I'm saying?
You used a powerful word, consequences. Yeah,
1000%. You know what I mean?
And I mean, and this is the thing with what I'm seeing from the culture, the the certain communities and stuff. It's when men like us speak on consequences, it's not always the consequences of this earth. It's the consequences of what happens on Judgment Day. So,
1000%.
Yeah, man.
Not only that, but it's also consequences that another family member may have to pay.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or maybe your mother who got to pay that consequence for you, or your
Right.
child got to pay that consequence for you, because now you can't be there to raise them. You get what I'm saying? The consequence gonna be laid down to somebody. You get what I'm saying? And it affects everybody. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things. Just be who you are, bro. Be in your journey, walk your journey, and that's it. But I could see it from a mile away. I could see it from a mile away. You know how you know? Call it a hunch.
Yup, call it a hunch. Yeah, man. Yup. Yup.
Call it a hunch.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean?
It's a perfect slogan. Perfect. I mean, just the way you rolled the track, the way that you laid everything out, the way you ended it. I mean, it was, dude, you did your thing on that one, man. For real. I mean, I'm not just saying that, man, for real.
Yeah.
But you know, we're gonna take another quick break. And then when we get back, we're gonna stay with KNEK and dive some more to this journey too. Stay with us.
Is how Kemp introduces addiction right from the start. It's not just Pamela battling her demons, but it's that ripple effect it has on her family, especially her eldest son, Raymond. He's already showing those same addictive tendencies, which, you know, really raises the stakes.
Absolutely. And the study guide really digs into that cyclical nature of addiction. It asks you, point blank, how do past mistakes influence the desire for a better future? It makes you think about those challenges Pamela's facing, not just for herself, but for her kids too.
And then, bam, enter Kevin Hussein Davis, Pamela's ex-husband. Talk about a dramatic entrance. This guy explodes back onto the scene. And let me tell you, he brings a whole new level of tension to the story.
Oh, his character is so well crafted. Kemp doesn't shy away from showing that dark side of Kevin's personality. Possessive, volatile, a clear threat to Pamela and their sons. And when he says that line, "till death do us part," chills, literal chills. It reveals that this story is about more than just overcoming addiction. It's about escaping a dangerous situation.
And then we have that envelope from Charles, Pamela's brother. It's like a lifeline, containing new identities, resources for escape. But there's a catch, right?
Absolutely. Is he really trying to help Pamela? Or is there something more going on? There are hints, you know, that he might be connected to Birmingham's criminal underworld, which creates this crazy tension for Pamela. Can she really trust her own brother?
It's like she's trapped, needing Charles's protection by suspicious of his motives at the same time. And I love how the study guide, you know, makes us look at this from different angles. It asks, is Pamela truly free if she's relying on someone who might be involved in criminal activity? It really makes you think about how complex her situation is, the moral compromises she might have to make.
This is where Kemp's talent as a storyteller really shines through. He creates this morally ambiguous world, right? Where characters have to make tough choices. And there are no easy answers. It's a story that reflects real life, you know?
And just when you think you've got things figured out, it shifts focus to Pamela's upbringing. Portsmouth, Virginia, raised by strict religious parents. It makes you consider the impact of her past on her present, how those early experiences might have shaped her rebellious youth, and the choices she's made. What's really interesting is that Kemp, he doesn't push any specific religious views. He uses those biblical references, add another layer to Pamela's character, to explore her inner conflicts, you know, and to spark a broader conversation about faith, willpower, and breaking free from destructive patterns. And all of this is just in chapter 1.
I know, right? It's incredible. It's clear that Kemp has really thought this through. And the study guide reinforces that.
Once again, still, you know, thank you, bro, for sticking around for, you know, this time with me, man. I appreciate it.
For sure. I'm having fun. Let's do it.
Yeah, man. All right, well, let's keep the ball rolling with these tracks, man. So the first one that you put out was Feeling Like David, right?
Yeah, that was my first, yeah.
Okay, but you had put another single out, Eating Crow.
Eating Crow, yeah, that was actually the last single I put out before the album.
Bro, yeah. that was actually, I heard that one first.
Yeah.
And then I went back and I seen you had put the other ones out, but
oh yeah,
man, when I heard Eating Crow, I don't know if you saw, but I was planting that boy everywhere, all my Facebook, IG. I was texting it to people like, "Hey, y'all need to check this out." But
yeah,
so you know, talk about Eating Crow and just like you know the meaning behind it and what was you trying to get across.
Yeah, so Eating Crow, it comes from an idiom, and what an idiom is that, you know, certain phrases that has another meaning behind it. And you know, the whole term of eating crow is when someone didn't believe in you or someone says that you can't do something.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? You prove them wrong, and now they have to, you know, they have to apologize publicly, or they have to apologize in a public format that, hey, I was wrong to do this. And in that moment, they would have to eat crow. You know, it's an embarrassing moment for them because they were proven wrong. You get what I'm saying? Especially when they stood firm on whatever they believed in. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, you know, like I shared earlier with my brother who, you know what I'm saying, he didn't believe, you know what I'm saying? So he's at that point of eating crow, you get what I'm saying? Now, me, I could bask in that, or I could enjoy that moment. You know what I mean? I could if I wanted to, but the scripture tells us that the revenge is not ours.
That's right.
Revenge is the Lord's. You get what I'm saying?
Yes,
At
sir.
the end of the day, our focus is just to focus on the purpose that he gives us.
Yep.
That's going to happen regardless. We don't got to say nothing about that or do or rehash it or anything.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Because God is working on that on his own. You get what I'm saying? We just got to keep focusing on what we focusing on. You get what I'm saying? So that was the whole concept to the record. And, you know, I hollered at my homies. You get what I'm saying? I was like, hey, I got something for y'all boys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh man, yeah. I'm thank you for saying that, because man, you picked great features for the album too.
Man, praise God. Yeah.
Everybody that you, and some of these cats I've never heard. So you know, I like how, you know, I like to hear a collaboration. I like to hear new people, because then that just gives somebody else that, you know, the listener can tap into, you know?
Yeah, I do that all the time.
I seen that in the first pod where you talked about you love collaboration. So I'm the same way, man. I love the collaboration too, for sure. So the next one, the one I really want to ask about, I know Daryl has a specific one, but I really got to say less, man. Man, bruh. Hey, let me tell you, on a sunny day, and I'm feeling good, man. I'm popping the sunroof open, say less. I'm blessed. You feel me? Hey, you can't tell me nothing with that one. Yo, man, that's a vibe, bruh. That's man. And I like how versatile you can be. You can give them the I'm on the road, go. Like you can, but that one, man, you moved it down so perfectly at the right time of the album too. So man.
Praise God, Say Less was definitely a fun one for me. Say Less was actually that one is one of my oldest verses on the whole project.
Oh, word?
Well, I've had that verse for years.
Oh.
The first and second one, for years, I just couldn't find the right beat for it.
Man.
I kept going over and over and trying new ones.
Yeah.
And that ended up being one of the last songs that was recorded for this project, because man, the beat that I eventually used, it just fell in my lap. You know what I'm saying? And the moment I heard the beat, I thought about the verse and I started spinning into it. I was like, oh, this is it. This is it right here. This is it. You know what I mean? But like, if for those, like, you know, I think in the second verse I said, smarter than Kellerman, you know what I mean? Crazy like Stephen A. smarter than Kellerman. I said, Max Kellerman. He not even on First Take no more. He not even here no more. You see what?
Yeah, you read, dog. Yeah. Yo.
Kellerman hasn't been there for years,
yo.
I'm showing you how old that verse is.
Man, I didn't even catch it.
To that name, once you hear that name, you're like, yo, Max Kellerman, because I ain't say Shannon Sharp.
Right. Kellerman, yeah. Man, I ain't even catch that, man. But yeah, you right though. Yeah. But I mean, you did right by sticking with it though. Cause
for sure.
It's a perfect track from beginning to end, man. Perfect track. Yeah, man. So let me get into the next one. That man, it spoke to us. It speaks to me. It's a serious track. Harvest Bound.
Oh yeah.
Harvest Bound.
Yeah.
That one, man. I mean, I could go on and on about it, but I want to hear you talk about it, and I want the listeners to get your view of Harvest Bound. But I will say this: it definitely spoke to me as far as the type of mind frame that I need to have while you know, on this faith walk, you know.
Absolutely.
And I mean it's and you got real transparent in that song also. Real transparent in that song.
You know, Harvest Bound. It was Harvest Bound is a direct reflection to Galatians 6:9.
Okay.
So it's the same. It's a direct connection to Josh's message in the intro. Never grow weary of doing right. For in the proper time you shall reap a harvest.
I caught that.
Right? Yeah. So never grow weary in another way, in another translation, never grow tired of doing the right thing. You get what I'm saying? For in the proper time you shall reap a harvest. So coming from where we come from, we had to time and time again choose to do the right thing.
Yeah.
Even though we knew that the streets was moving faster. You can move faster in the streets than doing the right thing with a 9 to 5 and this, that, and the third. You get what I'm saying? So it's like it hurts because you're like, man, I could be so much ahead if I was just dabbling in this, dabbling in that, messing with that. You get what I'm saying? That's the verse. People need to remember. Never grow weary of doing the right thing, for in the proper time you shall reap a harvest. You know, so Harvest Bound to me was, I am harvest bound at this point. It's coming very, very soon. You know, like when you're on a plane, you know, you're eastbound or northbound or whatever, you're heading in that direction. You know, there's so much that happened in my life that I could have got tired of doing the right thing.
I like that. I like how you put that. I mean?
Correct. Yes. Harvest bound. I'm bound to reach that harvest. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So I felt like the easiest way for people to understand how I know I'm bound for it is by understanding what I've been through. Because going through all of that, I still never got tired. I still never got tired of doing the right thing. I still never was like, you know, forget this, I'm gonna start selling dope. You know what I'm saying? It came to me. You get what I'm saying? Regardless of all that I went through. You get what I'm saying? So I know it's coming. You know what I'm saying? God is not a man who lies to us. You get what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
If it's in the scriptures, it shall come to pass. You know what I mean? So that was the whole concept to the record. That was the whole concept to the record. And Amber wrote out to her, you know, she hopped on, man. And the beautiful thing,
knocked it out. Knocked it out, bro. For real. She did her thing on that.
She did her thing. There's not too many records, there's not too many songs on the album that I didn't write the hook myself. Like Reflections, I wrote that myself.
Oh, okay.
Sang it, but I wrote it.
Yeah.
I was completely comfortable leaving it in her hands.
That's what's up, man.
Because she's about that.
Congratulations to her.
About that. You know what I mean? She does Bible study. You know, she's always putting words, you know, always making reels of, you know, different scripture verses and how we should move and stuff. And I knew she already knew it.
Man, you got a line in there that, man, okay, so for me, I grew up with a stepfather. And I mean, you know, in your in the first part you talked about your father. But in this album, man, you let it be known he wasn't there. Now I know that y'all got y'all's relationship back on tracks, right? But you know, you got this line in Harvest Bound where you say you used to get jealous just watching Family Matters.
Bro.
That it's something about that line. I think it's because I didn't experience that, you know what I'm saying? You know, but it's like, dang, like that hit me, you know what I mean? And so
that stuff watching that stuff used to be difficult. It used to be difficult. Like watching Family Matters, watching Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, like watching that stuff used to be difficult because it's like it's a full home.
Mm.
Full home. You got a dad, a mother, the kids. You know, it's they go through their things, but at least they're together. You get what I'm saying? Like Paul Winslow was always there. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm like, man, it used to bother me because I wanted to know how that felt. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's so many episodes, and I watched it religiously. You know what I'm saying? Watching Carl talk to Eddie, his son, things while he going through middle school, while he going to high school.
Yup. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I didn't have that, you know, so it was now I did have a stepfather.
Okay.
You know, I did have a stepfather in the home, but there were some things that it was missing. We didn't have a lot of those conversations. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
I hear you. Yeah, that's how, you know, God rest his soul. He was a good man to, you know, us, and you know, found some things out about him, but that's how it was for, you know, me and my stepfather. You know, it's my stepfather, you know, so it wasn't that deep connection, but I could never poo-poo on his name. You feel me?
1,000%. You know, provided he did his thing. You get what I'm saying? He did his thing too. You know, but it's like you said, there was always something that was just slightly missing. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
For sure.
But let me, so, you know, just to back up, you know, in the first part, you talked about how Eminem was your favorite rapper because of his transparency.
Yeah.
So in this album, man, all throughout it, man, you just laying just so much transparency out, from you know, your kidneys to your father to growing up broke, you know, and you know, those times, you know, has built such a powerful, you know, a strong man of God right now. So, you know, how do you, as we talked about earlier, cast that net, you know, continue to cast that net out, you know, with using your transparency? How effective has it been for you?
Oh man, it's been an absolute blessing, and it's one of those things that, looking at it in hindsight, if those things never happened to me, I wouldn't have any testimonies to share.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? I wouldn't have anything to say to help the next brother get along. You get what I'm saying? Like a lot of those stories, a lot of my past that I talk about in my music, my entire youth group knows.
Right.
They know.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? It's stuff I share with them. They know it. You get what I'm saying? Never like, oh, of course, in the whole, you know, Bible study setting, I'm just sharing everything, but when we have one-on-ones, you get what I'm saying? Are you going through this? Let me tell you what I used to go through and what helped me along the way. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? And it so on and so forth. So there's a power in testimony. There's a power in testimonies because you're letting that person know that I've had a rough journey too.
Yes.
Let's talk about how God can help us through this.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Let's talk about how we can help each other through this.
Yes.
Let's talk about how we could use that journey to help the next person coming up.
And that's why we like to start this pod with some testimony, you know?
Yeah.
It's not to glorify, but I like in the way that you do it, because I mean, even I have did it where I've used my past to kind of glorify, you know, what I used to do. But the way that you do it in your transparency, you're letting people know, like, yo, this was a struggle. I'm not doing this for cred or for you to look at me in a different way. I'm putting this out here to let you know, like, yo, look where I'm at now. Look at this 100%. Journey that I'm on now. 100%. And the Lord put me here. So correct, man, you doing it. Hey, bro, you doing an awesome job of laying it out.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, man. I appreciate it. Real talk.
For sure.
Yeah. So, you know, you brought up Reflections and how you wrote you know, how you wrote that hook. You know, go ahead, dive into Reflections some. And I love that hook, you know. I still got Say Less in my mind right now. But go ahead, man. Talk about Reflection.
On the things that I've done. How could one life that was paid be enough? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So that shout out to Victor Singh. He the one who sung that. Victor Singh, that's my praise and worship leader right there.
Oh, okay.
You get what I'm saying? So at my church, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
dude who's leading the praise and worship right there.
Okay, yeah.
And so I had to bring him in on it, and when I initially wrote the hook, yeah, it's just one of those things. It's like reflecting on the things that you've done. It's just like, I did so much wrong. The fact that you still took your time with me this time, the fact that God still kept his arms around me, the fact that he still, allowed me to live in purpose, to call me to purpose.
Yeah.
The fact that he sent his only begotten son to die on the cross for it. It's one of those things. It's like, will it ever be enough? You get what I'm saying? Like it's almost like I want to redeem myself. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I constantly want to redeem myself and just like pay him back for everything he's done for me. And I feel like the best way I could do that is just continuing to be obedient, continuing the ministry, not letting it fall off, like continue to praise his name and give him glory and all of those things, because the things he's done for me, like, he didn't have to do. You get what I'm saying? He did it purely out of love, so I'm indebted to that. And you know what I mean? So and in the song, I rapped a lot about, like how I found God, how my brothers brought me in.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? One of the lines in there, I say, they gave me the thesis. And when you hear that line, the thesis, you're thinking, okay, a thesis, but it's actually, the thesis was an album. It was an album from a Christian artist named The Ambassador from New York. That was the first Christian album I've ever heard in my life. You know what I'm saying? So this is around the time I'm listening to Eminem heavy. You know what I'm saying? So I'm listening to literally the flip side of this. I'm listening crazy to Eminem. You get what I'm saying? And Danny, the gentleman, one of my brothers that I referred to earlier, he was like, I'm gonna give you a Christian hip hop album. I'm like, is that, they do that?
Right, yeah.
BET, I watch the show every day. I've never seen that.
Man, real quick, man, the first time I heard Christian hip hop, I remember it was Lecrae Church Clothes 2.
Church Clothes 2.
And so, bruh, this dude was giving me a ride to work because I had got a DUI, and so at the kindness of his heart, he just was like, "You need a ride? I can come pick you up." He used to come out his way, and so. Shout out to Ro, man, if you watching this. I appreciate you, bro. So check this out. So he got an Expedition 215s in the back. He beating.
Oh, Church Clothes is thumping on that,
bro. I'm like, so I'm listening. I'm like, hold up, wait a minute. I'm like, what is this? He's like, you ain't heard Lecrae? No. And so
same thing.
Yeah, I'm like, what is this? Yeah. Then he tells me, "Oh, I'm a deacon." I'm like, "Oh, what?" I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "You're a deacon?" Hey, full disclosure, I'm high. I'm high going to work with the deacon listening to Lecrae. You know what I'm saying?
But hey, you know what that is though? Like, see, shout out to him for real, because that's what I'm talking about.
He planted a seed.
He planted a seed, but also he was already cool and he was being your friend before you even knew all of that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It wasn't about the title. It wasn't about who he was. It was just showing love.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yep. That's how it's done. Yep. That's how it's supposed to be done. Yep. You know what I'm saying? Yep. We'll eventually get to that. But you didn't help getting home, I got you.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that is how you do it. So big shout out to him for real.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, bro. The thesis, that was, and Ambassador, he from New York. You get what I'm saying? So, and that's the heart. Yeah. At that time, that was the heart of hip hop.
Yeah, for sure.
Man, when I play that thing, I'm like, yo, this brother is nice. And it made me want to hear more. You know what I mean? It made me want to hear more. So I started tapping into more and more and more. But that changed the game for me in a major way, because it made me realize that as a Christian, you don't have to lose everything.
Right.
To me, there was no way I could be Christian and keep hip hop.
Yeah.
In my mind, I couldn't.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? But that provided a light for me that, oh no, you can still keep hip hop. It just gotta glorify God. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And man, that changed everything.
Yeah,
that
man.
changed everything. You know what I mean?
I tell you, the album that really set in on me, that gave me that feeling was Eshawn Burgundy's "For the Love of Money."
Yeah.
That was when I really like was tapping in with the Lord, or a little bit more and more. And but man, when I heard that album, it was like, okay, I can listen to Christian rap. You know what I'm saying?
That's ministry. Them boys ministered to us through their music.
Oh yeah, they definitely did.
They showed us things that we didn't even think that was a thing.
Yeah,
you know
man.
Yeah.
So, we'll get to the ending track and then we'll do a rapid fire. But before we get there, we're probably gonna do one more break. We're gonna do one more break and then we'll be right back after these messages. Stay locked in. Back. We still here with our brother, man. We having a good time, good laughs. Hope that you still stay in tune with us. So KNEK, aka West the Tech, man. The last track on the album, A Prayer Away. You really gave us, a way to close the album, and something that I like about it is it leaves you wanting more, but it leaves you thinking before you turn the next, turn the album over again. So how did you come up with A Prayer Away? Because it sounds like that's something that you really, really live, where every day, everything you're going through, it's a prayer away. Whatever you're striving for, it's a prayer away.
Yeah, that is one of those songs that it hits home for me, because that's something I always have to remind myself of.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? Because, being fully transparent, there's a lot of times that, I'll go through certain things, and in that moment, I'm not even thinking about God or anything. I'm just like, bro, I'm in a tough situation. But the moment it clicks in my head, hold up, bro, deliverance is literally a prayer away. Just pray about it.
Yeah.
Just pray about it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The moment I start the prayer, I feel the weight off. Before I even finish the prayer, the moment I just start praying, to me, that's like, okay, God is in it with this situation now. We just opened the door for God to step into this situation now. Now I'm good, because I know He got me. You get what I'm saying? So it's one of those things. It's a constant reminder that He's just a prayer away.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Deliverance is just a prayer away. You know what I mean? Testimonies are just a prayer away. Healing is just a prayer away. All of those things, it's just a prayer away. And I've seen it done so many times. So that was, to me, the only way to close the album.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? In my mind, it was the only way to close the album, and it came together beautifully. Suan Fakir, she was singing on the track. That's Pastor Josh's wife.
Oh, wow. Okay.
The worship as well. Oh yeah, it's a family affair.
Oh yeah, that's beautiful, man. That's beautiful, bro. Yeah.
Wife on the track, I'm saying, shout out to her as well. They both was on the first project as well. They were on the last song of the first project, but she did her thing. Another one of those people, just give them the beat, let them know what you do, what it is.
Yeah.
And she did her thing.
Yeah, she did
her thing.
And then something about the whole album, and just it's 13 tracks. We didn't get into all the tracks, and that's just because I want you, the listeners, who's ever listening to this, go find those hidden gems. Go find the songs that really recognizes with you. Go find those songs that are blessing you. Go find them songs that's keeping you like this on your day, keeping you in the gym. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Man. Funny story, like David. I know my wife is about to do some deep cleaning because that's on her playlist now. Or
What?
yeah, bro, like David, like I know, stay out,
Yeah.
just stay out the kitchen because it's about to get serious in there. So, yeah, man.
Yeah, that's my workout one right there. That's my workout one right there for
yeah. But something else I appreciate about the album is you didn't give too many skits. The album just flows and flows and flows. And I love that you did that. You didn't break it up. I love that you did that. But at the end of A Prayer Away, that's when you give a message, and you also fill us in on the arrival. So, we just a bookkeeper. We fail. But I mean, do we get like a sneak peek or anything for the arrival, since we know it's coming? So I mean, what can you go ahead and tell us and our viewers and listeners?
All right, so I have started conceptualizing the arrival.
Okay.
I definitely have started. I've started. I haven't wrote anything down for it yet.
Okay.
As far as I haven't created any music for it yet. Yeah. But I know what I want to talk about.
Okay.
Because I know where I'm going to be. You get what I'm saying? It's one of those things. I just know it.
Ooh.
I know it because, again, harvest bound.
Yeah.
Right? The harvest is coming. You know what I'm saying? So I already know what the songs are going to be about. The arrival is definitely going to be a victorious album. That you get what I'm saying? Because I know where I'm going to be. 1000%.
Man, I love that, bro.
Yeah.
I love that. Because you were just I mean, you can hear it in your music, but talking to you on this pod, on this interview, man, you really about it. You didn't just put some things together because that's what you thought people wanted to hear. Yeah, this is really who you are. So
1000%.
Man, I'm a fan, bro. I'm a fan.
I appreciate that.
Real, straight up. So let's get into this rapid fire, man. You ready?
Yeah.
All right. So first one. Favorite bar from the album?
Oh man. And that's going to be rapid fire.
We coming out the gate. We coming out the gate with it, baby.
Okay, I got it. Okay, yeah. Y'all did it with a mega church. I'm doing it without one.
That's what
I think that was my favorite bar of the entire album because I come from a very humble, small church.
Okay.
Very humble, small church. It's an older church. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. And, I know that, not to throw shade or compare anything, but there's a lot of artists out there, bro, they got a mega church on their back. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm saying they got thousands of people listening to it because they got a huge church or a huge congregation. Right. You get what I'm saying? I don't got all of that, bro. I just got God in my humble little church. You know what I'm saying? That's all I got. My church don't listen to my music. You get what I'm saying? It's older.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So, but hey, with God, hey, that's it. So yeah, that
he flourishes.
Off the top of my head. Yeah.
Man, I love that bar. I'm glad that you said that bar. I'm seriously not just saying it because you hear love that you said that, man. Real straight up. But okay, so next one. Favorite beat on the album. Oh, let me go. Hey, I told you mine. What's up?
Oh, man. Okay. So here's the thing. I'm a fan of trumpets. I'm a huge fan of trumpets.
Y'all know I had to bring the trumpets back for this. Yeah.
That's my favorite beat. That's my favorite beat on the album. The close second will be The Climb, but something about Call It a Hunch, like just as soon as I touch down on these straight like that,
I'm leaving you all in the dust. Like Hey, you lucky I'm what'd you say? You lucky I'm a reborn Christian. I'll probably flip you the bird. So, okay. He trying to let him know. Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah,
Yeah,
bro. Yeah.
that beat does something to me.
That's
That beat
fair.
does something for
That's fair.
sure.
I think Call It a Hunch is
Yeah,
I think Call It a Hunch is my second, but Say Less,
yeah,
that's just my
yeah,
vibe. Yeah.
yeah. Say less is
Yeah, that's
that's
my vibe.
real cool. That's real cool
Yeah. But
for
okay,
sure.
so
I'm a fan of all the beats on my album.
oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
great beat
yeah,
selection. And oh, then
great
also,
job.
man, within our space, sometimes production ain't always the best. Can't say that for your album. Can't,
Praise God.
man. Your production is top
Man,
notch.
I appreciate that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I mix and master the whole thing myself. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I put a lot of work. Shout out to Art. Shout out to Art. He was a good mentor, and I was a good protege.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
you did a great job, bro. I might have to send you some tracks in the future to mix it faster.
Sure,
Real,
for sure. Hey,
yeah.
hey, I get busy. I get busy
Yeah,
for
you did
sure.
your thing, bro. All right, so next one song you wish people would sit with longer.
Ooh.
Hey, let me tell you. Shout out to Daryl because he actually wrote this part. This is him doing this too. Yeah, shout out to my big bro Daryl.
What song do I want people to sit with longer? Reflections.
Reflections.
That's
fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. Now Harvest Bound. I know. That's hard. That's hard. See, I understand why you say
Reflections is one of those. It's a reminder.
Right.
It'll always remind you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? As a listener.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking of. As a listener, if you sing it.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? You're talking to yourself.
Yeah.
As I reflect on the things that I've done. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's been so long, you know what I mean? That whole thing.
Yeah.
So reflections, it sticks.
That's a good answer. That's a good answer. Hey, I'm gonna be totally transparent with you. The other day when I was in the truck listening to that song, my eyes got a little watery because I really had to reflect on things and reflect on things of my marriage, so man, that's
why I wanted to sit the longest, because it puts me in that headspace every time I listen to it. You know what I mean? I can't help but think of how I just failed God, you know what I mean? But he still showed his grace and his love, so it's just like I gotta redeem myself, you know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Great answer. All right, so next one scripture that carried you through making the album.
Oh, Galatians 6:9.
Yeah. We already knew that. I don't even know why I asked that one, but yeah. That's
the whole climb, everything.
Yeah.
Hey, that carried me.
Yeah.
That was the Jordan. That carried me.
Yeah.
That carried me the whole way.
That's what's up, bro. Yeah. All right. So the next one, Dream CHH collaboration.
Oh,
no, I know Justmic in there. Don't worry, I know. I'm playing, bro. I'm playing.
We gonna cook. We definitely gonna cook.
Yeah, but nah, seriously though, Dream CHH collaboration.
Ooh, there's a couple of them. On the top of my list, I would probably say Hovey.
Hovey?
Yeah.
Okay.
I love his worship style. Like he got a real positive worship vibe to it. Like he's up there, and then KB is just KB a bad boy, man. KB gets it in. Like I love his selections, and I love how he's able to take a praise and worship song that we already know.
Yeah.
And flip it on his head and turn it into a hip hop record. That is so dope to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
it is. Yeah. Okay. That's good. Okay. I can respect them. them. And last one, one word to describe the journey to the climb. One word.
One word to just decline. I will go with Oh, one word. Okay.
Word.
Continue.
Continue.
Yeah.
I feel that.
Don't stop. Just continue.
I feel
Whatever
that.
he set you on, continue.
Man,
Keep going.
That's
Continue.
like, yo, that's a confirmation for me right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just continue what you're doing. Continue what you're doing. Continue.
Wow. Thank you for that one. Thank you. Personally. So, forget all of y'all. Forget y'all. I needed to hear that. Thank you for that. Thank you. That's a great answer. And it wasn't the typical, it wasn't the typical cliche answer either.
Oh no, I'm very simple, bro. And when it comes, it comes. Continue.
That's what's up. Love that answer. Love it. Yeah. Yo, I got one question, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm all about, us supporting each other more in this space. It seems like everybody's in their own little pockets, and it's CHH artists all over the place. So tell the people, somebody, if you're comfortable with it, of course, listen to KNEK, listen to Justmic, but tell somebody that you feel people should be listening to that maybe isn't,
Oh, that's easy. That's easy.
Give it to them.
Anytime I feature somebody, the people that I work with, I'm a fan of them.
Okay.
Truly. Razzie, nice. Nakash, nice.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
John, nice. Crucive, nice.
Oh, Crucive?
Crucive, nice.
I like him.
And he a producer.
Oh, what?
He produced Never Letting Go, and he produced By His Blood.
Oh, okay.
He produced them records.
Okay.
When he gave me Never Letting Go, I said, "Crew, I'm gonna need a verse, homie."
Yeah. Bless me with one. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So not the same JJ. You know what I'm saying? Anyone who I feature with, because that's a big part of why I pick certain people.
Yeah.
Because it's like I feel like they should be heard more.
That's
you get what I'm saying?
That's what's up.
In a sense, it's what DJ Khaled used to do. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He put a lot of artists on his projects.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Even though he wasn't rapping or anything on them, when you listen to it, you got introduced to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Dr. Dre did the same thing with the Chronic. You got introduced to a lot of people.
Yeah, man.
His projects. You get what I'm
Yeah.
So I do the same thing.
Yeah.
I do the same thing. Like, no matter where I go, no matter how high I go, I will have Lecrae on one track and someone you never heard on that same track.
Right. Heck yeah.
Like,
man.
Because there's so much people out there who deserve to be heard as well. You know what I mean?
For sure.
But yeah.
So, that's what's up, man. I'm definitely going to tap in, listen to more of them brothers' music, man.
Yeah.
Definitely, man. I'm glad that you put them on the album. I'm glad that you believe in them too, like that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, shout out to all of them. So,
for sure,
we're going to get up out of here. But before we go, let the people know where they can find the Journey 1, the Journey 2, all of your merch, the ebook for artists that like me that need some steps, Let us know where we can find all of your stuff, brother.
Everything could be found on westatechproductions.com.
Okay.
You could also just Google Westatech and my website will come up. That's WESTHETECH. I'm sure they'll put it on the screen.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And as far as my music, KNEK, you could just Google KNEK, K''NEK, because I'll pop up on there as well. I got all my KNEK stuff on the website as well. So everything's on the website. You can find me on tags on social media at Westatech.
Yeah. So go ahead, tap in with our brother, man. And I mean, I'm just gonna say this, as an artist, Daryl says this a lot, support, I mean, whether it's $1, $2, $3, $4, we put a lot of time, or let me say, I know this brother has put a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of effort, a lot of prayers into what he's doing. So, support, and if you're not able to support something, I mean, let's be real. We know a share on your social media, a like,
support.
comment. Yeah. It's more than one way to support. But you know, I would like for us as a community to do better about supporting each other. And yeah, man. So with that being said, if you would like to support the bookkeeper, you can go to tbk247.com. You can check out our merch. You can check out other pods. You can check out the fabulous articles that Daryl takes time to write. Yeah, man. And I mean,
and big shout out to y'all, because I've been a fan of the bookkeeper 24/7 for a long time now. Ever since I really came back to music, you know what I'm saying? Like, I love how y'all support, so I just want to take the moment to big y'all for real, and y'all deserve to be supported in every way, shape, and form, because y'all just being obedient. You know what I'm saying? Y'all just being obedient, and y'all just doing what God led y'all to do. You know what I mean? And I know that y'all harvest bound the same way I am. You know what I mean? So I love it.
And a lot of people don't realize, man, Daryl really, I've been behind the scenes for a couple years now, just helping him, just serving. I don't know. It's a long story, but Daryl, he's put so much time, so much effort into being there for other artists, trying to make sure that this space that we're in, CHH, has some kind of platform. So if you would like to, make sure that his efforts are appreciated, the time that he spends away from his family, the time that he's putting these things together, you can go to tbk247.com, make a donation, buy a shirt, or just, like I said, share a post, leave a comment. We'll greatly appreciate it. So
1,000.
Yeah, man. On that note, we can get up out of here.
Yeah.
Thank you, KNEK.
Sure.
I'm so glad that you was my first real guest. And
it's an honor.
Hey, it is an honor.
Hey, our collab is on the way. You gotta work on something, bro.
Hey, man, I'm with you.
I want some of that Memphis, Tennessee.
Hey, man. Nashville. Yeah, Nashville.
Hey, I'm trying to see what y'all on over there.
I got you, bro. I got you. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I'm with it.
All right, so that's it, man. Thank you for tapping in. Stay tuned in for the next one. Much love, much blessings. Keep us in your prayers, and we're gonna keep y'all in ours. Doses.